this early MLB slate. We're going to go game by game. We don't have a ton of time left, obviously. I mean, we got 45 minutes till or 50 minutes till the game start. But we have enough time to go game by game. It's only a 5-gamer, and I haven't decided yet what I'm doing. I will try to get a post into the premium Discord as soon as I'm able to. Once I decide what I'm actually doing. So
I want to make a comment. Somebody posted in the in the Discord. They were a little upset that they haven't been doing so well in baseball and stuff like that. Listen, baseball is nasty. Okay, it just is the way variance just kind of hits baseball, just the way results distribute. And I posted this in the Discord. I just wanted to show you something. I mean, I want to show you like my lineup from the 777 list. Now listen, this is $777, right? So I just wanted to show you what baseball is like. This is baseball. I had 36 fantasy points in the whole lineup.
That's wild.
And this is just how it is. You know what I mean? This is just what happens sometimes. There were literally, what is this? I think five people with less points than me. You know, so it's I have like no issues with any of these plays.
No. Just Houston.
But that's the point that I'm making. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way baseball is. And this guy happened to have won. You know, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So don't worry about it. It's all process. You know, you process it and let the variance. Hopefully, the variance is kind of on your side.
I'm just mad I didn't do the thing that I like to do, which is the stacking the team against their former pitcher thing, because that was the winner, was the Padres. Yep. But it is true that look, I had 10, not 10 straight losing. I think I'd lost 8 out of the 10 days, but it was a really bad 10-day stretch for me. And then I won $15K the other night with a lineup that some of those slates wouldn't even have come in the top couple hundred. You know what I mean? It's just it's a very it's a strange high variance game. You do the best you can to make the best decisions, get your process down. And that's really it. Like you don't have, I don't know. You're not going to expect. You shouldn't expect, and if you're playing tournaments, to be winning every day. If you're winning a small amount every day, you're probably not taking big enough risks.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, all right.
So the first game I have is Texas Pittsburgh. I guess I can start. I mean, overall on the slate, it's like two total standout pitchers, and you have to kind of figure out whether you want to play them both or play neither or play one of them. You know what I mean? Like. Duh, right? Obviously, that's your choice for all pitchers. But it's particularly the case today. But we'll get to that. But Texas Pittsburgh, and you already have 4 prongs of this game that you could argue for, sort of. Perez is, I guess, okay. Oviedo, I mean, he's extremely volatile. But if you want to play something other than Ryan Gallen, you know what I mean? It gets kind of fishy after that. So I could make a case for this also. And then the hitting sides, Pittsburgh specifically, you have that one dude. I mean, I don't know what Castro's been doing this year, but he's out of his freaking mind.
Is he?
I mean his he's been really hitting the ball really, really well. Anyway, I at the end of the day, I mean, I'm already pretty set on what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I have about 25% Texas and a little bit of Pittsburgh. But what I am doing, and again, this is more construction than anything else, I am playing a bunch of the Oviedo just for variance. That's just kind of what I'm doing. And I do have some Perez too, but Oviedo is the one that I'm going to lose with it.
I think both of them are viable. I just want to point out it's 80 degrees with 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. Pretty good hitting weather in general. Not a great hitter's park, obviously, but it's still a decent hitting weather. I think Texas is going to be pretty popular, and I like Texas. Seems like a kind of team that Oviedo would have some trouble with.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm having a little bit of a harder time getting to the Pittsburgh side of things because Perez he can get lit up by the little home run bug every now and then, but mostly he doesn't get as massively blown up as everybody expects. And we're going back years talking about this. If you wanted to play some of the problem is that the guys that want to play at Pittsburgh, $4,500 for McCutchen. Reynolds is a great player, but $5,700. These are not like cheap prices, and it's not like an ultra premium matchup for any of them. So maybe Castro actually being the best play of all of them. Still only 3K because he's mainly playing against lefties, and he's been crushing lefties this year. So those all make sense to me. I like the idea of getting some pieces of Texas. And just another point, like on the 12-game slate, by the way, one of the guys who finished ahead of me in that top 4 tournament the other night, he had literally he had no players from the same team in any of, not one hitter from, no 2 hitters from the same team. And the guy who finished right behind me had no more than 2 hitters from the same team, which I just thought was kind of interesting. That was on a big slate. I certainly think on this slate, there's no reason that you have to stack, and it's one way to get different. So I'll just say some of my favorite plays as we come along. I really like Corey Seager. These are not going to all be off the board.
Oh my God, has he been smacking the ball?
Seager?
Yeah.
Has he? I mean, I haven't noticed anything with him because he just.
Yeah, I think so. He's got 14 RBIs in 8 games. Is that what he has?
I don't know. He just got back. I didn't see anything, and I played him. I thought both times, but
look at these RBIs and all his games. 1, 1, 3, 2, 2. I mean, like he's.
Yeah. You're right. I missed the. I mean, he had a few good games back. I just somehow must have been on the weekend. They were on the freaking weekend. Come on, Corey. Wait till I'm playing. All right. So I like all of the guys, but my priorities would be Seager, Jung, because I think he's going to be lower owned. I really like Jonah Heim and then Grossman for value. I think all those guys. And then on the other side, that's what's a little bit hard for me is that I don't really love any individual bat from Pittsburgh. McCutchen is expensive, but I think he's fine. And I think Castro would probably be my favorite.
So Zach Gallen finally had a bad game in his last one at Pittsburgh. Actually, at Texas, he wasn't so great a few games back. But anyway, he's having a really good year, obviously, the 1 whip, among other things. But this matchup ain't great, put it that way. I much prefer the Joe Ryan matchup than the Zach Gallen matchup. So I know we are not at that game yet, but I have this feeling that just Ryan's just a better play. Anyway, Gallen is certainly playable. I mean, it's a very, as what's his name would say, pitching is ass basically on this slate. And you got him and Ryan. I mean, those are 2 kind of premium options. So I like him. I looked at the Arizona. Now, hold on, we'll get to that in a second. So Ranger Suarez, I mean, like, listen, he hasn't been good this year yet, but he's better than this, I would imagine. And again, like if you don't want to play the top pitchers and you want a dumpster dive here, I don't have a problem with Suarez. Again, he can end up at -2 or whatever, but I don't know. I just believe that he's just better than he has been. I don't know. I originally was going to get to a bunch of Arizona actually because they made some lineup changes, which kind of got me off them. I was going to play a couple of guys that were scratched, so I ended up not playing it. So that's pretty much what I got. I got Gallen as a top play. I'll have a sliver or 2 of Suarez, and I'm actually not getting too much of the hitting.
Yeah, I understand the Suarez argument. As of right now, I'm not planning on playing him.
Yeah,
but I like both offenses here.
Okay.
I'm good as of right now. Don't get me wrong. I will have a Zach Gallen, Joe Ryan lineup. Obviously, I'm not going to play Philly in that lineup, but I like the idea of playing Philly at no ownership here. Gallen's, I mean, like, as Gallen's a really good pitcher. This is not a guy who's like completely untouchable all the time. You know what I mean? This is not a guy who doesn't have a way of struggling. If you want to notice the very common trend, all these great games that he had, no walks. Then all of a sudden, last 2 starts, 6 walks in his last 10 innings. You can't you got to find the plate against Philly. And if you don't, you're gonna pay for it. So between Schwarber, Harper, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, there's a lot of bats in here. And you got Cody Clemens super cheap. I don't even know if you need to fully stack it, but certainly getting some bats, and those would be my favorites. You could throw Castellanos in the mix, I guess. But I really think that 1 through 6 on Philly certainly makes a lot of sense for one-offs at least. And I was like, we'll get into it, but I thought the chalk today was going to be the Diamondbacks, and maybe because of the lineup they released, they keep changing their lineup against lefties. That's what happened. And there's pinch hit risk for Rivera. There's pinch risk for Longoria. They also threw in Pavin Smith against the lefty, which is a little bit weird, but it's just a strange situation. But I'm more on the side of the Arizona bats than I am on Suarez. So that's what I would say is Arizona, and I don't mind Corbin Carroll in a lefty-lefty matchup. I always say this to everybody: play Rivera over Longoria. In my opinion, he's just a better player at this point, I think. I'm into that. This is a game where I want to attack for hitting. Nice day in Philly, 75 degrees, and I like hitting in that stadium. And we've got some ugly weather in a couple of the games coming up. So this to me is the game I'm going to be very, very highly into. And I like I said, I still will have some Gallon, but I'm going to make sure that I have pieces of Philly as well and other lineups.
I like we go ahead to Washington, Chicago, and Cleveland. I actually like both sides of the hitting here. Kopech obviously, had he had an amazing game against Kansas City. But from what I've been reading or whatever, his actual internals are not that great. He has a high barrel rate this year. Again, on a small slate, I think I might take a shot at Cleveland. And Quantrill's been basically getting away with murder all season long. He hasn't given up at anything yet, but maybe again on a small slate where no one's playing, no one's stacking it against him. Maybe I'll take a shot with Chicago. So again, these are both basically small slate plays, but I'm gonna not play either of the pitchers here, and I'm gonna play probably a decent amount of both of the hit.
So we're on totally opposite sides.
I love it. That's great.
I have absolutely no interest in the hitting in this game.
Okay.
It's what is the 11 miles an hour wind blowing in from center field. It is 70 degrees and it's center field. So you can say like, okay, well, if they pull the ball or whatever, the ball can travel. You can see that Vegas doesn't like this game either for hitting. It's I think it's second lowest total on the slate. I am okay with Kopech or Quantrill. To be honest with you, and honestly, I think that's a they're both totally viable to me to get off the other side. Look, if you want to play like a little bit of some of these guys, that's fine. My plan is to avoid them, with the exception of maybe like a one-off Jose Ramirez or Josh Naylor. But I don't think I'm gonna. My current plan is not to play the hitting and to use these pitchers as pivots off of the Gallon, Ryan, Chalk. I'm actually a little surprised. The early projection I'm looking at is Gallon at 35%. I thought he and Ryan each would be like 70% on this slate, and maybe they will be in the bigger buy-ins. But just kind of interesting. Like I don't know. I don't really want to target. We keep going through this with guys like Benintendi. This guy hasn't hit a home run, as Sheets would say, since the Eisenhower administration. He doesn't really steal bases anymore either. So
he's great.
Every day we talk about how cheap he is, and I'm just like, well, maybe it's for a freaking reason. I'd rather play Gavin Sheets and hope to get that one of those home runs. That's it. Like
there's Vaughn at 3,400.
Yeah, Andrew Vaughn's fine. Like there's guys who are fine. I just personally, I'm a little bit lower on the offenses in this one. Although I have to say that if you need some value, you certainly have some options on both sides between Naylor and Vaughn at first base. Sheets at 2,400 in the outfield. Jake Berger with an immense amount of power. Maybe he's a guy because Quantrill pitches the contact that you could throw in there, but just not my favorite spot on the slate personally.
So we're gonna probably give Houston and Milwaukee another shot here.
Houston, Milwaukee, yeah.
We're gonna give that another shot. My 36 combined points from last night's double stack notwithstanding. We're gonna give them another shot. I have those two stacks. I have Houston as my highest owned stack. Not gonna be particularly earth shattering, but I have them, and then I do have Milwaukee as well. And I don't have. I actually have a couple of lineups with the BLAC, but none with Hauser.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm not personally getting to either of them, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Houston is look, if they're clearly the obvious play of the slate.
Yeah.
Along with Milwaukee, I guess both these teams are the two obvious plays.
Yeah.
So I will just be trying to just make sure I just absolutely do not stack either one of them, and I will I might end up with 4 of one in one lineup, but I most likely it's going to be like 2 or 3 mans. Favorite bats would be Yordan Alvarez. This is no shocker, obviously, but Yordan Alvarez, Rowdy Tellez, Willie Adames, and probably, I guess you'd say either. I guess I would say Kyle Tucker is my next favorite. But yeah, certainly the game that I think everyone's going to focus on. So I'm going to try to be a little bit underweight and try to be a little overweight that Philly Arizona situation instead. And here we go with San Francisco and Minnesota. Sheets, why don't you jump on this one?
Yeah, I like DeSclafani, and I like Ryan. Obviously, I like Ryan, but I thought that was clear. But yeah, I think Ryan's probably the best play. I mean, you can make the case for Gallant. I mean, I think the two of them are the best plays. But I'm getting a decent amount of DeSclafani too, just for diversification. And as far as the hitting goes, yeah, I mean, I have to say that I have a couple of San Franciscos just for fun. Again, just 5-game slate stuff, and that's pretty much it. So, couple of San Francisco funsy stacks. And then, but Ryan is probably my highest owned pitcher, and I have probably more DeSclafani than I'm probably supposed to.
Yeah, this is the game that Vegas is giving the most respect. 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from center, 71 degrees. That's nice, but 12-mile-an-hour winds. That's harder to hit a home run against these guys. And you've got two good pitchers. So, you've got a good pitcher and you've got DeSclafani, who I still don't even know. Like, you could ask a million people, and it's going to have a very hard time figuring out what the hell he is. It's been that way his whole career. I've always thought he was a little better than he would get credit for. Now I think he's getting too much credit. He's not nearly as good as he's getting credit for. So I don't know. I like Joe Ryan. If you're not playing Joe Ryan, I would encourage you to maybe, like, Mitch Haniger is 2,800, Conforto's 3,400. I love this Blake Sable at, you get the catcher at 3,400. Boy, he almost won me all the money the other night. Just missed one off the wall, I believe it was. So I'm okay if you wanted to try to get a bat or two here. I don't like Julien is a cheap option you could use.
Is he in the middle of the lineup?
He's leading off for Minnesota, and I like this kid. But what you don't want to do, if you had to do it, this would be the kind of slate to do it. I just always remind everybody, on big slates, you don't play guys like Solano as one-offs. Okay. But you do play them as one-offs potentially on a slate like this, because you don't necessarily need a home run. You know what I mean? You don't need a home run hunt. You can get 7 or 8 fantasy points at 2.1K and you'd be fine with it. So both Solano and Julien as for value. And then, like I said, if you're not playing Joe Ryan, I would encourage you to get some of the San Francisco stuff. And one thing I've noticed about San Francisco, I just want to point out, I think they've been, as much as they are strikeout heavy and they've had some they haven't been the same team offensively we've seen in the past. They, for whatever reason, seem to hit good pitching better. It's the strangest thing. Like, so and just try, this is just playing the, hey, I don't want to play Joe Ryan at 75% ownership, just trying to find a way out of it. But the truth is, I probably will be overweight on the 75% of Joe Ryan, because I really do like him today. And just hope that if you do play any of the hitters in this game, just hope that they don't hit the ball to center field. I hope that they're pulling it. They're pulling their home runs, or I mean, it's just going to be hard to get one out at 12 miles an hour in an already big center field. So
I don't know. Are you going to do a video on the main slate, or?
No, I'm going to just do the live.
Okay. Well, I'll just share, at least right now. I probably will be there. We'll be there. But just in case I'm not, I just want to just at least share what I looked at earlier. I shouldn't even build anything yet. I think I liked Cortez, and then I'm going to pull this up a second, just so I can remind myself of what I had. Yeah, it looks as though. Okay, so let's clear this. Just really, really quickly, I liked Cortez as my top pitcher. I think that's really cheap. And then I liked Chalk. It was like I looked at Miami for a minute, and then I looked at who was the other logical? San Diego. So nothing earth-shattering. So it was Cortez, San Diego, Miami, and then I really didn't get too big of a look aside from that, though.
Yeah.
But if I'm back for live, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah. I'm at 6, and I'll, I got a thing I got to head out to about 6:30 Eastern, so it's going to be.
And so I know I'll be around for 11 o'clock p.m. Sweat, where we go over the PGA lineup build and also hopefully sweating somebody winning something in baseball.
And I will, if I can, if I join you, it's going to be very brief, but because I've got a friend visiting and some people I got to look after today, because I thought, we were going to do Tuesday, but it got kind of mixed around. So I will try to pop in my head and say hello and just see how everybody's doing, and maybe somebody's got a sweat and something.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Sheets, have a good day, and let's crush it.